I want to talk about a few different topics on this video because I want to get more in depth in why I feel like, this is the right way to do things. And plus, Christians don't take care of their vessels. Most Christians are overweight. And it says in the Bible, gluttony leaves, is one of the biggest threatening sins. And I'm not here to judge. Like I said, I deal with anger. And lately, I haven't been dealing with anger. Um, because I eliminated certain things from my diet. The thing is with Christians, they like to hide things like the Pharisees. They powder themselves up in front of you. But behind your back, if you're a threat to them, especially if you're a threat to them, well, they believe that because, that's how they function. They go and they do things more so behind your back, like the Pharisees. Now, there was a part in the Bible where Jesus, like I said, I don't believe in this. I'm only using this weapon because that is their weapon, right? So if someone's using a weapon against you, you use the same weapon. So it would be a fair fight. Um, and then you would see who really is good in that area. Because I don't believe in cheating. So okay, let's use the scriptures because this is what they like to use against us. So I'm using the weapon right back, fighting fair. In the scriptures, Jesus heard the thoughts of the Pharisees. He heard it. It said it in the scriptures. When he was teaching, he would teach one in parables so they wouldn't steal from the blessing and turn it into something else. And he heard. So also Jesus did it so the ones that were wise and did want to know would grow from experience, because what are we here to do? Grow from our surroundings, experience, wisdom, instead of knowledge. And because knowledge doesn't help you grow. It helps you, just know things, but you won't just know. Let's say you can know something, it doesn't mean you know what it means. And that's why Jesus taught like this in parables. So if you really wanted to know, you would pay attention through wisdom and not, knowledge. By knowledge, I mean being smart, not just by knowing things, to just know them. Actually knowing them through experience, because that's how we grow. And Jesus heard the Pharisees when they said they wanted to kill him. So it said that he heard their thoughts. Means that we could do the same because Jesus said that we could do greater than him. He heard their thoughts. He heard the Pharisees when they were saying in their heads, they were mad at Jesus for his teachings. And they said that if he was alone and he wasn't in that crowd, this is what Jesus heard, telepathy, they said we would kill him. Jesus was talking about energy. He was talking about receiving energy. Now, I talk about in my book because I used to be very artistic like, and even the way I spoke was very poetic, but I have a hard time explaining things direct. I learned by, the reason why I spoke that way, and I'm trying to change it, to explain my message. The reason why I spoke that way is because I was a learner through seeing things. I was a visual learner because I had, like I said, I had black holes in my memory part of my brain. So I had to work around that because I used to have seizures. And the way I got taught, which most people that have disabilities like me growing up get taught through, visual, giving them a visual explanation. Okay, so but I'm trying to change that language and explain myself the best way I can, not poetically, but direct. And I'm having a hard time with it, but I love a challenge. And so I want to also explain about energy, right? Because energy is the first form of us. It says in the Bible, energy is words. When God spoke to existence, I believe the Bible was talking poetic, and it was also, probably trying to explain something that we shouldn't even give that much head to, because like I'm gonna keep repeating, God said, do not give more care for what you don't see, care more for what you see. When it comes to well, he said, how can you love him? In the Bible it says it. How can you love him? You say you love him, but you never seen him, and you don't love your brother here on earth. Which he's basically also talking about, like, experience. Learn through experience. Test the spirit. That's also in the scriptures. Test the spirit. What is spirit? Well, I believe, this is what my book is explaining, but I explain it in an abstract way. It is energy. It is energy. And we are made out of energy because, like I said, we're made out of pieces of the universe. I believe it got embedded in me because of the teachings of Jesus. Like, he explained things that weren't in the eyes. Like, for you to see, you have to think deeper than that. For a reason. Okay, so my book is explaining about how it's just a metaphor, and my book is not real. Like I said, it's just an abstract way to explain this. That what if a word like love used to be an embodiment of whatever form, an alien, I don't know, but it went through an experience. Let's say this, like we're going through an experience, and it's talking about, my book is talking about words turning into then the meaning, because then it could carry the energy. It's not processed, but it's molded into its experience, and then it's given that name. And then my book is talking about, but my book is not real. Again, this is just me making stuff up to, explain to myself, because what it's the energy that I want from my own character development, and those that are around me, that I have experienced in my past. So my book is it's talking about people that I have experienced and myself. My character Chase is relating to me. I always felt like I was chased by time and by a lot of things, but then I was renamed in the book, and then I feel like, what is the point of it? To carry that energy and give it a name to its fullest extent. Scientists give a name, but first they give a name to a lot of things, but first they're like, what is this thing first? And they experiment with it. They try to find the energy, the what is it, and where it was processed, how it was processed. Like thunder. We would have always been afraid of thunder or fire as cavemen if we wouldn't experiment it and saw, what it does, and then we named it fire. And thunder, we named it thunder. Well, scientists. So my book was just talking about that. Like, what if humans were the same thing? What if me, Suli, my name Suli is gonna be like love? Like, love used to be an embodiment of something, and now it's just a word, but it carries that energy because it was first experienced. Just like me, Suli, I was first experienced as what I'm gonna become. A word that then is energy that people can say, and it carries that energy. That's what my book is trying to symbolize. It's just a symbolism. It's not reality, okay? But here, I was thinking about today how my memory's a little off. My concentration's very off. I ate meat yesterday. I'm going way back to the gluttony, and why I feel like the Bible talks about that being one of the greatest sins. I ate meat. And today, and it was just turkey meat, and I haven't ate it for like a week. And before this, my body was doing so great. My memory was on point. My words were on point. What I wanted to say was right there in my brain. I wasn't searching for it. And today, I am out of it because I'm trying, first of all, the body, scientifically, it goes through, burning that off. It's using all your energy to burn off what you just ate. So I can't imagine that I have trouble concentrating because of that. I mean, you could even hear it in my words. I'm stumbling across one word to the next because my body just had meat, and I want to stop eating meat. I want to start just eating vegetables. I want to start eating grain and stuff like that because I feel like it helps me with my energy. If my body is consuming so much that it has to process so much, like meat, because it has to process it, the meat is the strongest thing you have to process. Hello, you're already made out of meat, and you're eating that, you're feeding meat to meat, you're going to process more and more to burn that off. It's going to take longer, and your brain is going to take longer to concentrate because it's burning off all that other stuff that you just fed it. So that's how I am today. Like, I feel like my body is just processing that meat, and I can't concentrate. And this is in the Bible. This is in the scriptures. There was a man named Daniel, and there were soldiers who asked him, soldiers that were considered of the world, not of God, in the scriptures, in the Bible. They asked him, how come your soldiers are faster than ours? They're better than us. And I think it was not, I don't know if they were soldiers or they noticed their diet, but then they also noticed they were better at what they did than the soldiers of the king that he was serving. And then the king did the same diet, and his soldiers started winning battles because they changed to vegetables. They started eating vegetables, healthy food, plants, because they didn't have to process their meat, so they had no trouble concentrating because most of their energy was going to their brain. It wasn't going through their body, through their stomach, through all of that. It was just, experiencing, which is what we're here to do. Now, satanic people, because Satanism does exist, there's a lot of people that take this practice, my brother's one of them, and want that. What do they say? Because there was a man who preached about this from where I was from, because he was a Satanist in Puerto Rico, and he would eat even human meat. Why do they have to eat all of this? If you eat, okay, we're naturally born good, 100%. We're naturally born loving, knowing these things. But in order for you to do evil, you have to become what you also consume, and food is one of it. So why do you think they do all the blood rituals, all that? Because it is real. It's not hocus pocus. That people put that in practice. And this man gave his testimony in Puerto Rico of what he experienced. And I'm looking into it with the wisdom that I carried of food. They wanted to, their energy, that dark energy that they wanted to receive, they needed to teach themselves to be evil. So they felt the need to eat meat, to do blood rituals and all of this, eat human organs, because he ate human organs. The reason why he quit and exposed them was because they were telling him to eat a kid's heart, and he didn't want to touch kids. He was like, I'm not going to eat a kid's heart. So he quit. And he had trouble with that because I guess these type of occults chase you down and stuff like that. But the reason why they do it is to go against their nature, to feel evil. Therefore, they're feeding their mind evil. They're slowing their bodies down as well because you're eating your own meat. I can't even imagine how that shuts down your brain and makes you retarded. So this is why they do these rituals. Satanism is retarded. I'm not going to say, oh, it's evil. No, it's retarded. They do these things to shut themselves down and for them not to feel that they're human. So that way when they kill people and stuff like that, they won't feel the connection with what they're killing. So why do they do that? So they won't feel like they're being empowered. They want to feel like they are the power. They are in control. And then the only way to do that is by continue brainwashing themselves to kill people, eat organs, and by eating that as well, eating human organs. I can imagine how slow that makes you and your brain, because naturally we are good and they want to be evil. So they're doing that to be evil, to even go through the process of slowing themselves, making themselves retards and brain dead, basically, to not feel, to be more in control. Because what they believe that feeling and all of that, going through the human experience is evil. Because somebody, if they fall in love, if they fall in love with whoever, they will be controlled by what they love, because love is a higher energy as well as evil. You got love in the Bible and you got evil in the Bible going hand in hand, but it says love always wins. But these people, satanic people, they can kill people who are not in the good energy or they're in the between, because those people aren't alert as the other one that's making the sacrifice. there's a lot to it. And this man didn't preach this. I picked this up. He only preached about his experience and why he left because he didn't want, his kid. He didn't want to kill kids. But I picked this up through my own diet as why they do it this way. And this stuff is in the music industry. They do these things. They hide. They do all these things. Okay? And this is why I'm saying that people should, take the teachings of God serious. Not like the Christians, because the Christians are the new Pharisees. They do it to get their own way in life. And cover it up with powder like the Pharisees. And the Christians were the first ones that would have killed. The Pharisees were the ones that gave God away. They were looking for him. And these were the ones with a temple. They had somewhere to worship, and that's all they cared about. Their little temple that when Jesus rose, got broken. It says it in the Bible. It got broken. It cracked. And they cried about their temple. That's how Christians are. And why I experienced this. I did a mural for a church. Free. And everything. They didn't pay me. I had back problems. And I ended up leaving with my back hurting so bad. And that was the first time doing a mural. And you know what they did? The Christians, the Pharisees, the new Pharisees, they complain about their temple. They were like, oh, it's possessed now because we had a lesbian in the altar painting for us, even though it was free. You think Jesus would have done that? Well, no, he wouldn't, because the scriptures say it. Because there was a lady who had poured, there was this perfume that was very much of value, and she poured it onto Jesus' foot. And another woman said, no, that's so much of value. Why are you throwing that onto his feet? And Jesus said, no, this is good in my eyes. Because she did it out of love. She did it out of knowing that he was human. And that was just a freaking perfume. An aroma that was very valuable back then, by the way, to people. And their religious practice, I guess. But this is what these Christians did to me. I went there, I did my 3D art that I felt that good light gave me, the good energy. It put me through that experience and taught me to do the 3D art. And I gave it to them for free because I wanted to be with God. I thought that God existed, but I just believe in the light. And the energy of light. Because energy travels, and I'm going to keep saying that. But these Christians went crazy. They were like, no, there was a lesbian up there. We have to clean this. And they started screaming and jumping and rebuking. Because I did, and they said that now there were demons in the altar. Because I did a mural for them. Not charging them a penny. Not bothering them. Not asking for anything. All I asked for, I believe, was... and they were mad but it was for them. I needed a new brush. I needed a bigger brush to finish it faster. And they even complained about that. The lady told me, the pastor's wife told me, oh, you better use that brush because it's costing me $30. And I was feeling so uncomfortable. I remember this whole experience. But I kept my own energy. I stood straight. I didn't stand up to any of them rebuking the altar, even though they asked me to paint that for them. And God stood up, the light stood up for me. The energy of light. Because after that experience, I had a wonderful experience where somebody told me, where I was heading in life. Because she listened to the good energy and she separated herself. She wasn't of that church. And I still remember this woman. They call themselves the prophets, but they separate themselves. And I call them the reader of times. Because they separate themselves. They could feel energy and where it's heading. So they can read time and where it's heading. Where we're heading with it.